I'm allergic to quad feeds. I just found out one of my closest friends from high school is having a kid. And like me just like registering who he is and knowing who he is, I just can't comprehend it. Like me and him have been going to separate schools for college, so we kind of fell out of touch compared to like how we were in high school. I don't truly know how old my subscribers are. YouTube analytics say my most common demographic is 18 to 22, but I know a lot of people lie about their ages. I used to do that all the time. Nothing prepares you for when you have to stop lying about your age. But truly, there's nothing that can prepare you for when your friend that used to play the penis game announces he's having a kid with his fiance. I used to sit right next to this man at lunch like junior year, sophomore year, and he would just be right behind the teachers like, penis! And now he's a father, or at least he will be. I just can't wrap my head around it. It's always the most unlikely people that end up growing up the fastest. Man's wasted no time either. I'm 22 years old and he's the same age as me, and he graduated college 2 months ago. I guess he just got his cap and gown and went right to work. I know there's gonna be a gender reveal. Hopefully it doesn't start any forest fires. See, that's so weird, bro. Like, I'm thinking of him like I used to think of him, like in high school, but he's like a grown man right now with a kid and a job and a fiance. Growing up is so weird, dude. When I was in high school, I used to think that I didn't want kids. Now I'm like kind of indifferent. I think I just don't like the idea of raising another me, but also being a parent is a lot. I didn't have the most strict parents in the world, but my parents definitely had some rules. I was raised by a mom and a stepdad, and on top of that, I wasn't raised in like the best neighborhoods, and I wasn't raised with like the most money in the world. So there's definitely some rules and things I had to adhere to that maybe my friends didn't have to. But one thing about my parents is that they didn't really take any BS. I always thought it was weird like going to my friends' houses and they'd be like yelling at their mom. There was one time I was hanging out with one of my friends, and it was like the first time I had ever played Minecraft. We were on his personal computer that was in his room, and his mom like peeked through the door and she just like kindly whispered, "Hey Zach, do you think you can clean your room once Jolene leaves?" And he was like, "God, I hate you, mom, you're such a bitch." It's like full on yelling at her, and there was no part of me that could even comprehend that. Like, it just didn't make sense to me. It was like water not being wet. It was like the Detroit Pistons making the playoffs. It was like me hitting a clip. It just was not supposed to be that way. And after he raised his voice to his mom, I thought he was gonna get it, but no, she just shut the door. 5 minutes later, she poked her head in again and asked if we wanted Sunny D. He got angry at her again and she left. I was just upset because I like Sunny D. Literally in that same like 3-month span, this next story happened. But in case you guys didn't know, I actually have 9 siblings, and they don't all live with me, but a lot of them do, or at least they did when I was a kid. And if you have older siblings, especially older brothers, then you know that like the rule of seniority is like very real. If you want to ride shotgun in the car, you probably can't because your older brother wants to. In my case, the big thing was whenever we were cleaning the house, that's just how it is. Now, one of the benefits of having kids, for my parents at least, is that you basically have free labor. And I don't mean like literal child labor. I mean like having people to like tidy up the house and stuff. So we had like designated times and days when we'd clean the house. Nothing crazy, but it's easy for the house to get messy with that many kids. And we also had 2 dogs at the time. And there's generally a rule for everyone that we couldn't do the things that we wanted to do until we cleaned up. And on this particular day, I really wanted to hang out with my friend Zach, who I mentioned before. So I actually got all the cleaning done that everyone needed to do by myself. My brothers and my sister were still sleeping, so I went to go hang out with my friend Zach. So after like spending an entire day hanging out with him, probably playing Minecraft, Halo Reach, maybe even going outside, I got home pretty much right when my mom got home. I like walked through the door and she was furious. And I was thinking like one of the other kids probably did something stupid. You know, like I cleaned the whole house by myself this morning. I'm not in trouble at all. It turns out my brothers and my sister completely destroyed the house while I was hanging out with my friend. And they had like rushed to try to get it cleaned before my mom got home, but they just couldn't. You know, my mom just got off like a 12-hour shift or something, just trying to make ends meet. I'm sure she doesn't want to spend her whole night cleaning the house. My brother ends up saying that they couldn't get the house clean because I was too busy at my friend's house, saying that I like went before I cleaned anything and that I didn't help at all. I was so mad and trying to defend myself, but I feel like in the process of doing that, I made myself look 10 times more guilty. So I guess my mom didn't believe me and she told me to go up to my room. And she told me I couldn't watch TV, I couldn't do anything for the rest of the night. And I was so mad because I was the only one that did what she asked. And I was the only one being punished because my brother decided to lie. So I'm like a little kid and I'm throwing a temper tantrum and I think it's kind of justified. But once I got to my room, I decided to take out my anger. So I picked up one of my shoes and I threw it across the room as hard as I could as a kid. And like, I didn't think my mom would be able to hear it, and she probably wouldn't have if it had hit the wall or the floor or something. But the shoe ended up going right through the window. It was the loudest glass cracking sound you've ever heard in your life. It just shattered. And it was so loud, I knew my mom heard. As soon as it happened, the whole house went silent. and I heard my mom's footsteps just coming straight towards my room. It sounded like Jason Voorhees was stomping towards me. And really, that's exactly what it felt like. Remember, I wasn't really well off, so a window like the one I broke was not an easy fix for someone in our financial position. She stepped into the room that I shared with my brother at the time, took one look down, and then looked straight forward at the window, and I saw a fire in her eyes that I hadn't seen up until that point, and I probably haven't seen since. Now, I have pretty long hair right now. I have it up in a bun at the moment, and I always wanted long hair as a kid. I thought it was cool. You know, there's people in like WWE that had long hair, a bunch of skaters. So I was growing out my hair at the time. Now, I feel like it's been long enough. I don't think she can get in trouble for this, but my mom grabbed me by my hair and lifted me across the room and just placed me in the hallway. There really was no point in her doing that. I don't think she had a goal in mind with that. I think she just wanted to sit there alone and look at the problem, but she was also very clearly angry. I promise she's a good mother now. She ended up going soft when my sister was born. So for the next couple weeks, I had to sleep with a garbage bag taped to my window, and I would occasionally step on little sprinkles of broken glass that were still stuck in the carpet, but it was technically my fault. I mean, not technically, I literally threw the shoe at the window. I don't know. All I do know at this point is that I don't think I could raise a kid at this point in my life. I don't think I could handle the responsibility, and I think I'm too soft to be a parent, really. Not that you have to be hard on your kids. It's just like if I'm driving home and my kid's like, let's get Chick-fil-A. How am I supposed to say no to that? I want Chick-fil-A. I don't want to eat what's at home. The fact that my friends have kids and I have to like seriously think about and talk about having kids is just so crazy to me. It doesn't make sense. I talked to that friend who's gonna be a father in a couple months, and he can't believe it.